We are back. It is halfway through December, and it has been one heck of a year. Our kill numbers this year are double what they were as a total last year, and I think a lot of it attributes to the cold we've had. We've had 15-degree weather in early December that have pushed a ton of birds here and that have just been using everything we have. 203 has been spectacular. We did a few things differently this year. We put in pit blinds, as you saw, where the A-frames were. Those locations have worked out really well. The one pit we put in the southwest corner, when we hunted that early last year, we had water just daylighted to where that blind was. And this year we started pumping earlier, and we had more water out in front of that blind than we did in the past. And I think it kind of hurt us on the early ducks. I think those early ducks, the gray ducks, really focus on the edge of the water and like to feed basically in the new food, so to speak. So they'll basically follow that edge. We basically went past that edge, and that blind was not as productive as we thought it would be. We did notice, though, on that far east side that tends to get water later, that the birds were starting to work that. So we just kept the water running to get enough water out in front of that blind. And that blind on that east side has just been spectacular all year. The water's coming up. There's a lot of different undulations in that pool, and they've really focused on the corn in the deepest spots, I think naturally because the water's closest to the ear in that spot. Once they get that area eaten out, you can see them traveling to the next piece and the next piece and the next piece. So that's been kind of interesting to watch. We've had a lot of ice this year. We've been combating ice through basically two ways. We've been running our wells to keep the west side open, and what we've seen is that really creates a line of traffic from the refuge on the east side to the west. So we've been pretty much staying out of the west side, and although it's frustrating to watch, you know, hundreds of birds traverse over the top of you, you tend to break down birds and you get your limit. So at the same time, when it's frustrating, you're not pulling in those big groups, and all those birds you're seeing, it's really creating a traffic line that you can go in and shoot basically every day without wearing it out. So we've been hunting that blind almost every day, and it's been producing great numbers. The other way we've been keeping ice open is we've put out 2 larger generators on remotes with ice eaters. We put all the ice eaters on the east side of the blind, and when it gets cold, we condense those decoys into basically what we think is going to be the radius of that open ice hole. And we've been going out and tending to those twice a day to keep ice open. And it's been working really well. Right now we're kind of at a lull. This is the warmest and calmest I've seen it. We've got a big bright full moon. I think it's even a yellow moon I saw on the news, and yesterday was the slowest day I think I've seen all year. So we've got some guys out today. Hopefully things shake loose a little bit earlier. They tend to want to fly late last night, but I think for next year at the 203, that southwest corner, we pretty much left wide open, sheet water. I think our plan was to shoot early ducks out of that. I'd like to move that corner. I plan on moving some of our corn rows that were southwest of that pit, basically to surround the pit. So one main row where the pit is, and then a row to the east and a row to the west. And then I think we're going to probably trench in one of the well pipes to about 200 yards, 300 yards to the north of it. Our big cold fronts, their wind's out of the north, and that wind actually takes that warmer water. So I think the water coming out of the wells around 50, 55 degrees. It takes that warm water and it actually just pushes it from wind and creates a huge, gigantic hole. So obviously we want to center that blind in food and have it open during the coldest parts of the year so we can hunt it if we please. If not, we will still have our food to create that traffic piece that I explained a little bit earlier. So at the house this year, we built the new South Lake, and I think we have a video that's going to come out this spring that's on the construction of the new South. The idea with the new South, it's a large tract for a refuge. In my opinion, based on the size of this farm, it's 120 acres and was very simple to levee up. It basically has one main drain point. So you'll see the details as far as the build go, but the idea is to have a refuge on the north side, a refuge on the south side. Keep those inviolate, do not touch them, do not hunt them, don't even come near them, and basically hunt the pools between. We've had really good luck this year. We have not put a bunch of pressure on this place. If basically just to see how the birds want to work naturally. We did come in here and we had some wonderful hunts over in the wellhead pool or wellhead pit this year, and it's just been pretty big volumes, steady flows of birds. But the birds that want to do it, we pull our spread every day, so there's no permanent spread and very light pressure. And when those birds see decoys in a place that they're very comfortable in, they are finishing boots out right in front of you, and it makes for just incredible hunting. It makes for very good hunting, especially when you get involved with videoing. This year we've had several guests. We've kind of opened the doors and hosted lots of different groups, friends of the brand. We've had Barstool out here, Sydney Wells, multiple times, and then one of her shows called Out of Office, where they pull some guys from the big city that haven't hunted, throw them in this environment, and what a great time that was. We've had Ducks Unlimited, multiple groups with them out here. We've had an awesome time, had great hunts with them. And then the boats we've been using to traverse the 203 this year have been Reaper boats. And those guys came out. We had a blast. Those are great, hard-working, honest guys. And we're learning a lot about how those boats actually, how we can improve basically a boat model to traverse our specific environment. We probably need a little more flotation, especially early on in the season. And then ease of breaking ice would be cool. So we're going to work with them on maybe developing a couple custom boats for the 203 next year. So this is the southern edge of the New South Pool, and it's got highway frontage here. So naturally cars run up and down it, people stop, take a look, and we had a lot of ducks actually get closer to the highway following the new water. And what we want to do here is create a screen, a natural screen, to block basically human-duck vehicle interaction. So we went and had that visit with Forest Keeling. We actually procured 400 to 500 of their overcup oaks. They produce a mass. Oaks hold their leaves longer. Most of the oaks around here still are holding their leaves right now, which obviously benefits the screening aspect. But we've been in touch with the electric company down here. We figured out the easement distance, and we've added to that to compensate for lateral growth of the limbs and such as they progress. But the spacing for our overcups, as we've gone pretty tight, we are 20 feet apart, and we have an additional row behind that, so it's 20 feet off, but it's offset. So the back row is actually 10 feet. It actually splits the difference between the front row, and the objective here is big hardwood trees that last a long time, produce mass, which acorns are, and leaves to block this from outside view. It's the last day of the season. It's windy, and a big cold front's coming. I think it's been cool. December 31st, and it's the last day of the season. We're out here, North Zone in Missouri, and finally we got some weather. We had a great season. I had a 2-week spell there where it kind of got stale and got tough, but it looks like tonight it's gonna start freezing up and really drop. We've been seeing a lot of geese last couple days here. I think everything's on the move. Just slid in here about 12 o'clock, and we're already got about 5 or so mallards down. But the place is looking a little rough. Most of the ears of corn look like they've been pretty much demolished. It looks a little sag. It's all looking shorter. It's darker, and we're down on boats and rangers, and we've been hard on everything, but it's been an awesome season. But next step would be pull the plug on everything, let it drain out, decoys pick up, combine or bush hog what we got left in here, and get ready for planting season coming up in the spring. That's a wrap on the season. It's been an awesome year. We've had intermittent sun and clouds and wind, playing with the spinners, and we just pulled them and been finishing them closer without them. But what a great year this year. Excited to actually get out in the field and work the land and make some improvements, build a couple blinds, plant a bunch of trees. So stick with us, more coming.